Hi everyone, I'm Rochelle, and I have 3 little girls. Anna, who is just shy of 4, Chaylee, who is 2, and Gemma, who is 6 months. And if you're joining me for the first time, welcome to my channel, where I make videos on integrating the Montessori method with our Catholic faith at home. So now that we are halfway through the school year, I feel confident sharing with you all a tour of our homeschool room. Now, just to give you some context, when I set up this space, I wanted to make sure I had a room that was very realistic for all of my children's needs. So though it functions predominantly for my preschooler, it also serves my toddler and my baby. And because I am homeschooling using the Montessori approach as our guide, you will see in our schoolroom some more traditional Montessori materials that you would find in a classroom setting. However, I am one mama on a budget like all of you. So I don't have the ability, I don't have the space or the expenses to have every single material that you would find in a Montessori classroom, nor do I want that. I have the flexibility and the freedom as a homeschooling mother to pick and choose which materials I think would work best for our family. We have 2 dedicated shelves in our classroom. We have one that's meant for math and language activities, and the other one is meant for practical life and sensorial. To me, that is plenty. I do not need more than 2 shelves. I rotate things out quite frequently, and I just stick to the essentials. And because our shelves are more minimal, it really allows me as a parent to be more resourceful and creative. And so a lot of the materials I've actually made myself, or I've printed and laminated so I could keep them for years to come and teach my girls. And it also allows me to manage my inventory a little bit more, so I'm not constantly keeping just tons of materials that may only be used here and there. Because our shelves are a little bit more minimal, I do rotate the materials on the shelf each week, with the exception of the more traditional materials. So for example, the pink tower is always out. I'm excited to share this room with you guys. It has taken me a while to put together, and I think it functions beautifully. It really works well for all 3 of my girls, which is really, really important to me. So with that, let's go ahead and jump to the room tour. So starting with this shelf over here, I have a basket that I got from Target, and inside I have 2 work mats that the girls know to use whenever they pull a material off the shelf. And that just kind of gives them their own space to work. And I try to separate these 2 shelves. So we only have 2 shelves, this one and this one. And on this one, I try to keep math and language activities, although you can tell there's a globe there as well. And then on this shelf, I try to keep practical life and sensorial. So as I dive into all of the activities on the shelves, you'll see what I mean by that. So starting on our top shelf, here we have our colored bead material, which is an essential if you're doing Montessori math at home. You can easily DIY these. Well, I shouldn't say easily, it would take a long time, which is why I purchased mine. And I can make sure to link below where I got mine on Amazon. And then I just have the staircase, the colored bead staircase, and a printout that goes from numbers 1 through 20 using the colored beads to match, which is a really fun material for Anna to be using right now. And then next to that, we have our continent globe. My 2.5-year-old loves to sing the continent song, so this is basically always on our shelf. And right behind that, just have some wall art, and I just have a United States of America map. So starting on this shelf, in this basket I have language objects that you can match to the sandpaper letters. And this is how I went ahead and set up this activity. So I have the sandpaper letters. I chose to do cursive. You can also just have manuscript if you prefer. And then it comes, I went ahead and purchased a package of 6 of these pencil cases. And inside, you know, I put the different letters on the outside, and then inside are the language objects. And I chose to actually supplement with picture cards as well. instead of just buying a ton of different language objects, which has helped me a lot to try to gather enough materials to fill the box. So anyway, so what we're doing is I have 6 of these different boxes with the different letters, and as she masters a box, I then just exchange it for the next one, and they all have about 4 to 6 letters in them. And I'm happy to share with you how I chose, you know, which letters to put on each box. I'm happy to share that with you as well. I'll go ahead and attach the list that I use in the description box. Next on the shelf are these letter recognition cards, and this is new for Anna, and all it is just practice matching different letters. So she puts out these cards and then she just looks for matches in the different letters. So she says, oh, duh, and duh. And so this has been a great way for her to practice recognizing the letters that are very abstract without language objects, which is something my child needs to master as well. So that's that. Next, I have a sand tray, and this is actually salt that I went ahead and just dyed myself with blue food coloring. And these are pattern tracing cards that I found for free, and they actually do come in a particular order. I went ahead and they're all mixed up because Anna uses them so frequently that she has, you know, almost mastered all of these. And so she simply pulls a card, or the child pulls a card, and they start where the happy face is, and then they actually just trace it in the salt or sand, whatever you have. And before she does letters and numbers, I want her to master patterns. And there's a bunch of different patterns in here. So lines and shapes and zigzags and curves. So this is a really great material that she uses quite often actually, and it is always on our shelf. This is a new material. This is the 100 board, which I just purchased from Treasures by Jennifer. And inside this little basket are numbers 1 through 20 and 20 felt balls. And the idea with 100 board is there's a lot you can do with it. For now, what I'm going to be using it for is having her actually just practice counting 1 to 20 using the felt balls, and then actually finding the numbers themselves and placing them in correct order. And so this is a new material that she's using, and it's just another way to kind of reinforce her numbers. Like I said, she just started learning her teens, so we are really trying to focus on mastering those numbers. So this is just another way to do that. Next up is a simple DIY. All I did was I took cardstock paper that I'd already had and the stencils that we have, and I went ahead and traced different shapes that she's familiar with. And I'm having her practice with scissors, cutting them out, and then she is free to glue them and make her own kind of design with it. She really enjoys cutting, and we've been practicing with cutting strips for a while, and so I thought she was definitely ready for shapes, which she was, and printing them on, or just writing them, tracing them on cardstock first is really helpful because it's way easier for a child to cut than just normal construction paper. So that's definitely a helpful tip there. So that's here on our shelf for cutting practice. Next, we have our DIY sandpaper numbers. So I made these a few years ago, and they've held up really, really well. And all it is just Sharpie and glitter glue. So after I laminated the index cards with the Sharpie, I then went ahead and traced them with glitter glue, and after they dried, we've been using them, and they are awesome. They're holding up really well. You can use these for cards and counters. Simply just practice tracing the numbers themselves. So that is on our shelf often. And we also play the Bring Me game, which if you're not sure what that is, you basically just ask the child to find whatever number it is that they're looking for and bring it to you. So that's been a really fun game that we've been playing with those. On our bottom shelf, I have this basket with these numbers and pegs, which my 2.5-year-old is really enjoying. She gets so proud of herself when she can accomplish every single one. And she's always running up to me and telling me how proud she is that she can actually do them all. So this is a really good material to have for your 2-year-old if they are just starting to learn numbers. Next up is this wooden tracing board that I also got from Treasures by Jennifer. And it is a really beautiful material that I think I can see us using for years to come. It's just great practice with this stylus pen for the child to actually practice, tracing the letters and numbers. And on the back, so this is the lowercase side, and then on the back, I have the uppercase letters as well. And on the side of our math and language shelf, I have these traditional Montessori number rods, which I've used a lot with my girls to really just solidify numbers 1 through 10. You can use them for addition and subtraction even. So this is a material that I hope to use in years to come. And on the side, I have the numbers that you can use. So first you want to make sure that the child understands the number quantity, and then you can work on matching the number symbol. So that's what that is. But I'm gonna move on to the next shelf here. So this is, like I said, our sensorial and practical life shelf. And I'll just go ahead and go over each material. So the first activity on this shelf is this really fun one for any child who loves water. This is called sponging. And it is as simple as it seems. The child will fill one bowl with water, soak up all the water that they can with the sponge, and squeeze it out until all of the water is gone. And then they can do the same on this side. So my 2.5-year-old really enjoys this one. Next is this cute little basket with 3 paracord strings in them. And we are currently using these for practicing knot tying. So this is a prerequisite for sewing, learning how to sew. And yeah, we've been using this to learn how to tie knots and then untie them, which I think the untying is more fun than the tying for both my girls. The next activity on the shelf are these locks and keys from Montessori and me. It comes with 5 different locks, all a great variety, all different kinds. And the child can simply practice, number 1, finding the correct key and just turning it just so to unlock them and lock them again and again. Both of my girls enjoy this activity, and I thought it would be a little too hard for my 2-year-old. It is not. So if you're looking for a good challenge for a child who has really good fine motor skills, or you want to try to develop that a little bit more, highly recommend this material. Next on our shelf is our music basket, and this is something that is basically always on our shelf, and I change out some music cards as the season permits, or as we're studying something in particular. For example, I had Christmas songs, and coming up is Valentine's Day, so I'll have songs for that. And then we just have a variety of musical instruments that I do change out periodically. So I don't put all of our instruments out, I just put a few of them out, and then I change them out as the girls, start needing a change. I even have a kazoo in here, which is super fun. Next up is our wooden lacing board. Again, I have a few things on our shelves as prerequisites for learning how to sew. I used to get those DIY lacing cards that you can buy, through Teachers Pay Teachers or Etsy pretty easily. I also have some from Melissa and Doug that are different animals. However, I came to a point where I needed a little bit more holes and variety, and in this one you can do a lot of different ties with, so learning how to tie a knot or even braiding, learning how to braid. So I think this is definitely worth the investment as your child gets older and more proficient with lacing. And this one's pretty thick, you can see on the side, and pretty easy to work with. Next up is Color Box 3. So this is really great practice for learning how to grade colors from lightest to darkest, darkest to lightest, and developing that chromatic sense for a child. So this is pretty challenging, actually. It's very challenging work, but for whatever reason, it really is intriguing for, at least for my girls, it's very intriguing for them to kind of figure out. So that's been a fun material that we have in our sensorial shelf. Next up is our cleaning caddy. That is also a material that is always on our shelves. Inside, I have a spray bottle. I have 2 microfiber cloths for cleaning up any messes in our homeschool room, but also when they're cleaning the windows, that's what these are for. And then an actual little squeegee. And next to that, I have a broom. So this is a child-sized broom that comes with a dustpan, and the dustpan is pretty cool because it actually stays on the ground, as you can see. So it's really easy for a child to use. Next up is a fun activity that my toddler received in her last KiwiCo box. So this is a color matching game, and it's just a great way for a child to kind of reinforce learning their colors. So they roll the color cube, and then whatever it is, they take the felt circle and place it on that correct color. There's also a variety of different games that you can play with this, but this is something that my daughter really enjoyed when she received it in her KiwiCo box, so we leave it on the shelf. Little Gemma has graced us with her presence. Hi, Jemmy. You want to say hi? So she's going to be joining us. She just woke up from her nap. Next up are our handbells. And this is a real musical instrument. They are in key, and I use them right now for a variety of ways. So the first way that we use them is actually having the child match the key to the actual note on the staff. And then my 2-year-old can do this pretty well. And then my 4-year-old can actually put them in order from lowest to highest. So that's a really fun way for them to learn the different notes. And then here, I have this printed, I printed it out for free from Imagine Our Life. And they can actually play, as you can see, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star with the handbells. So it's definitely a very helpful material for learning some music. And coming back around on the top of this shelf, we have our beautiful wooden calendar that we use every day during our circle time. The basket right there has all of the numbers for the month, and it also has some pictures for, determining the weather for that day. So we place our weather here, and obviously our month and the season, and then, whatever date it is for that day for homeschool. We have a little song that I sing with the girls, and this has been a material that I definitely highly recommend getting if you are homeschooling, because the child can actually put the days on the calendar themselves, which is a great way for them to get involved. And then next to that, I have our little handbell, which I use for telling the girls when there's 5 minutes left and they need to put a work away and we're starting to clean up. And next to that, I have a little display where I put a book of the week. And right now, the girls are really excited about Mercy Watson. I got them the whole series for Christmas, so we are reading them like crazy. And I have those on display for after we are done with our circle time. We read a book, whatever book is on display, or a book of their choice too, and then they begin their work for the day. That's how I organize it. And I didn't show you guys, but on the side of our shelf, we have our pink tower, and that basically stays out on the shelf at all times. You're supposed to have the child see it in 3 different angles. So it's kind of here in this prominent place, and the girls use it every day. And on the back side of the shelf, we have our little prayer table. And this is where we start and end our homeschool day every day. We usually have some candles here, and I light them and we start prayer that way every time we start homeschool. And right now we are missing our candles. I have to get some more. And then we have a little vase there that we can add some fresh flowers if we have them. Moving on to our little cozy reading area. I have this bookcase from Sprout Kids and a few really comfy, cozy pillows the girls like to use when they are reading. I change out these books frequently. Some of them are from the library. Some of them we just have in our own library at home. And then I have this kind of cozy rug space for them to do their work, or we usually do our circle time here, We, read books here. We do a lot on this little rug, so it's helpful to have in your homeschool room for sure. And next to our bookcase, we have our plant that is doing really well through the winter season. I'm so happy about that. The girls love to do plant care. And so all I do is I have the girls take the watering can, fill it up halfway, and they get to water it once a day if they choose to do that. And then I have these little cotton pads that they can use to dust the plant and clean it if they want to. So I just put Gemma in the carrier, and I'm hoping she'll let me finish this tour for you guys. So on the other side of our schoolroom is our art area. And I'll go ahead and start with our easel. So we have a chalkboard here with some chalk and an eraser. And on the back side, if the girls want to, there's a whiteboard, and I have some dry erase markers that they can use for that. And then this is our art table, and they can use this for their work too, whatever work they want, or just arts and crafts. It's totally up to them. I don't care if they use a work mat or the table. So this is our morning menu, which is always left here. And it's just great reinforcement using the dry erase markers. They can circle what the weather is, or what they want to, or what they're wearing, or what they would like to do, or whatever the date is, and they can practice tracing those numbers or circling them. And then I just have some of these I Spy mats, which is great reinforcement for practice learning the letters, specifically for Anna, but I have everything for Chaley as well. And then some line tracing, which I change out periodically as they seem to master them. And then here, I just have the materials we use most frequently. So different types of colored pencils. These are the Lyra and the Stabilo, and then some dry erase markers that they can use for their morning menu or the whiteboard. And then a little sharpener for the Stabilo colored pencils, which is great work for them as well. So next to our art table is our art cart. And I'm gonna go ahead and explain to you how we use our art cart and what's on it. So I keep only what I'm comfortable letting the girls have independently. And I do change these things out periodically, but I don't keep out a ton of materials because I just find that it becomes overwhelming. It's a lot to clean up, and I don't know, I just personally, I find that the girls work better and they're a lot more creative when there's less out than having more. So I just change them out periodically. So I have the stencils here that they're really enjoying using right now. And then in here, I have cardstock paper and a circle hole puncher that is pretty tough to use, but the girls really seem to enjoy the challenge. And then my older daughter, Anna, really enjoys taking the circles that she's punched out and gluing them. And then this is just different types of washi tape that they like to use for making all kinds of creative things with. And then down below, I have tons of quick sticks that they're enjoying right now, and then some cutting practice. Those are just leftover cutting strips from Christmas, some scissors, and a glue stick if they need that. And down below is just simple white paper. So next to our art area is our baby play area. And I just have a baby play mat here, a simple mirror. Her top and chino is down below. And then I have a few simple toys on her shelves. So right now I just have a squish rattle and a textured soft book, and then a spinning drum. So she is just now 6 months and learning how to sit. And so she's really enjoying the spinning drum and the rattle for sure. And the last part of our schoolroom is our gross motor area. So here in our gross motor area, we have a pickler triangle. I've got a rock wall and a ladder, and on the opposite sides there is a slide, which my dad actually made these two. So we just feel really fortunate to have them to go along with our pickler. And then we have this wavy board or balance board the girls got for Epiphany, and a Love Every Tunnel. And then over here on this white shelf, I just have one of these fly bars that the girls use to jump with. And then we have our little shape sorter snail and some stepping stones. So these stepping stones are kind of fun just to show you an example of them. So they're just wood stepping stones with kind of a secure pad on the back to put on the floor, and they use them to practice, you know, jumping from stone to stone. You can also do like a fun twister game with them if you want to. So definitely fun when we make our obstacle courses. And then in here in these bins, I just have one open-ended toy. All of the other open-ended toys are upstairs for us, but I keep their Brio trains in here, mainly for my 2-year-old who does use them from time to time, and just an assortment of different balls. I hope you enjoyed our schoolroom tour. If you are new here, please make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a new video, which I do try to post every other week. Thank you again for coming to my channel where I make videos on integrating the Montessori method with our Catholic faith at home. I'll see you again next time. God bless.